When Marvel fans talk about the best fighters, the usual names hit the comments first. Captain America, Wolverine, Daredevil, Black Panther. But hand-to-hand fighting is not just about the toughness, healing, or who could take the hardest hit. It's about timing, discipline, instincts, and what happens when the fight gets close enough that there's nowhere left to hide. Welcome back, Panelheads. Today we're counting down the top 5 best hand-to-hand fighters, looking at their combat history that proves why each one deserves a spot. Starting at number 5, we have a fighter shaped by Kung Lung, pride, and the power he believed that should have been his, Steel Serpent, Davos. One of those rare fighters on this list who feels built specifically to challenge the Iron Fist mythos. Davos first appears in The Iron Fist, Issue 1, and his story starts in Kung Lung, not as some random villain chasing power from the outside, but as the son of Lei Kung the Thunderer, trained in the same world that forged Danny Rand. He is a martial artist shaped by the same tradition that created one of the greatest fighters, only his path twisted in resentment, entitlement, and obsession. Steel Serpent lands at number 5 because his skills hit hard, but it doesn't always cut clean. Davos has the training, the conditioning, and the chi-based discipline of Kung Lun behind him, but pride keeps twisting that discipline into something heavier and less controlled. In Marvel Team-Up Issues 63 and 64, he challenges Iron Fist directly, steals some of Danny's chi, and proves that his danger is not only physical. Steel Serpent is not simply throwing punches. The skill is real. The threat is real, but the fighters above him bring sharper control, cleaner focus, or a deeper mastery of the fight itself. At number 4, we have one of the strangest and most underrated fighters in Marvel history, Karnak. Karnak first appears with the Inhumans in Fantastic Four, Issue 45, where Johnny Storm discovers Crystal's family and the Inhuman royal family begin stepping into the larger Marvel universe. But Karnak is not intimidating in the same way as the rest of his family. That is what makes him so deceptive. His whole fighting style is built around seeing the weaknesses in anything or anyone and striking the exact place where everything comes apart. Karnak earns number 4 through precision, not presence. He is frightening in a quieter way. He does not need to overpower you, outmuscle you, or make the fight look dramatic. He studies how you stand, how you move, how you protect yourself, and where your confidence leaves you wide open. By the time you realize what he's looking for, he may have already found it, but that same precision is also what keeps him at number 4. Karnak can break the fight if he finds the flaw, but the next 3 are harder to read, harder to shake, and much harder to stop once they start moving. At number 3, we have Elektra. Elektra enters the story in Daredevil issue 168, where Matt Murdock reveals his past with her and shows the path that eventually leads her into the world of the Hand. But Elektra is not here just because she is deadly. She's here because her fighting style is built around pressure, precision, and a level of restraint most heroes would never cross. Matt Murdock fights with control. Elektra fights like someone who's already accepted what the fight may cost. Her martial arts is tied to stealth, weapons, assassination, and close-range control, which makes her one of the most efficient fighters in Marvel. She is not usually trying to outlast you or put on a show. She is trying to find the quickest path to the finish. Every movement feels focused. Every strike feels personal, but that same edge is what keeps her just outside the top 2. Elektra is one of the greatest assassins, but the fighters above her bring a deeper kind of mastery. At number 2, we have Danny Rand, the immortal Iron Fist. Danny first appears in Marvel Premiere Issue 15, where his origin begins in Kung Lun, training, and the path that turns a lost boy into one of the Marvel's greatest martial artists. This is where the ranking becomes a real debate, since Danny has almost everything you would want from a top-tier hand-to-hand fighter. He is disciplined, precise, spiritually trained, and shaped by one of the most demanding martial arts traditions in Marvel. The Iron Fist lands above the assassins, the flaw readers, and rival champions through the way he bends martial arts with chi control. Without the Iron Fist, Danny is still elite. With it, one perfectly placed strike can change the entire fight. That is what puts him close to number 1, but it is also what keeps the debate open. Danny's greatest advantage is also tied to the power he carries, while the fighter above him feels like the cleaner answer when the question is pure hand-to-hand mastery. At number 1, it has to be Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi first appears in Special Marvel Edition Issue 15, where he steps onto the page as the master of Kung Fu, and that title has followed him for a reason. He's not winning this list through armor, claws, or the power of Kung Lun. He's here because the fight always comes down to perfect timing, balance, and pure hand-to-hand skill. Shang-Chi is the standard everyone else is measured against. Shang-Chi lands at number 1 because his whole history keeps proving how far pure technique can go. In Deadly Hands of Kung Fu, Issue 31, he stands beside Iron Fist, White Tiger, and Jack of Hearts, which puts him directly in the conversation with Marvel's martial arts world. In Avengers issue 11, Shang-Chi is not treated as a street-level fighter. He is placed inside Earth's mightiest heroes, where his skill has stand against science, power, and the impossible odds. And even when Shang-Chi does use weapons, his greatest weapon is still control. He reads motion, manages space, and understands rhythm, and turns the body itself into the weapon. When it comes down to pure hand-to-hand combat, Shang-Chi does not need anything extra in his hands. He is the weapon. So, Panelheads, who do you put as number one? Shang-Chi, the Iron Fist Danny Rad, or someone else entirely? Drop your ranks down below. And if I brought up a detail you didn't know, make sure to like, subscribe, and share with another comic book fan. Let's keep building this Panelhead community together. Other than that, Panelheads, we will see you again when we cover another one of our favorite comic book heroes from over the years.